My name is Sarah Roy. I'm the director of the Early College Opportunity Program, and I'm so excited that you guys are able to join us this evening. I have with me Mr. Drew, who is one of our corporate partners. He works with Oak Branch, so he's going to talk to you a little bit about the role that they play in a little while and his function in our group. And then I also have with me Mr. Miller, who is one of our teachers. He's a teacher here at Danbury High School, but he's also one of the teachers in the program. He teaches our digital imaging class. So we're excited to be here with you this evening. Just so you know, our cohort has 60 students in it. That was the maximum that I could take this year. So congratulations to those of you who have decided to participate. It's exciting. We are entering our 4th year, so we'll have our first graduating class come up next year. However, I was telling a couple of you that we did have 3 of our students who graduated from high school a year early this year and will finish their associate's degree. One of them will finish in December and another one will finish in May, and then the third is going to UConn to the School of Engineering. So she's not going to finish her associate's degree. She's just going to take what she has and transfer it up to UConn. So it's exciting, exciting results. Our first cohort had 100 students in it. We have about 75 students left. Many of them moved. A couple of them were placed out of the program because of special education issues and programming issues that just did not allow them to continue. And then we had a couple of students, to be fair, they just decided that it wasn't the right program for them. And that's okay. So when our students join this program, I ask that they stay and commit to each year. So if you decide at the end of your freshman year, yeah, you know what, this is not for me, I don't want to do this, fine, no problem. What I ask is that the student come meet with me and I talk with the parents, and then if we want to decide, I don't want to do this anymore, fine. It's absolutely no problem, okay? There's no pressure. Some of the benefits of the program are that they get to have me as their administrator for all 4 years. So that can be good and it can be bad. Right? So I get to know them very well. I also do a lot of the scheduling with them. I kind of act as the guidance counselor in that piece. They have a guidance counselor that they'll work with also for their social emotional needs and those kinds of things. If they need scheduling help, they can certainly access the guidance counselor. But I like to do that. I like to be involved in that as well. It's a little bit easier for you, I think, to have one contact person to go through, especially with the needs of this program. It's a little dynamic and a little bit different. So I like to kind of be in touch with the parents and the students for those needs too. So what are we? We are working to prepare our students not only to do well in high school, but to, if they so choose, to pursue a college degree, fine, and also in the workplace. And so from the very beginning, we are working with the students in the class called Workplace Learning. So that is the only difference in their schedule. We're going to talk about schedules a little bit more in a second, but that's the only difference, and I know that's a big question that a lot of the students have, so we'll get that out there. One class is an elective, it's called Workplace Learning. But basically, the Early College Opportunity is a partnership with Naugatuck Valley Community College, Danbury High School. We work with Oak Branch, and we work with Pitney Bowes, the Danbury Schools and Business Collaborative, and many local businesses. So you're going to hear us, you'll hear about us, you'll see us in different places because we try to get out into the community. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So basically what our students are doing is, their freshman year, they have a regular freshman year. They're not taking college courses or anything different than anybody else, but they are working on those workplace learning skills. And some of them are the soft skills. They're learning how to shake hands. They're learning how to stand up like this and give a presentation to large groups, to small groups. For some of them, it's really daunting. And it's awesome for us to see where they've come. You know, at the end of freshman year, many of them are comfortable speaking. You would never think it. You meet them and they turn red and they talk to you and they don't even understand your name. By the end of the year, they're like, yes, I'll do it, I'll come. And they want to represent because they're confident in those skills. So it's really kind of awesome for them to see. In that workplace learning, they get to know who they are as a student, as a learner, as a team member. It really focuses on themselves so that they can develop that from within, so that then when they're ready to go out and get jobs and seek jobs, then they know how they act and they know how they can interact with other people in business settings. So it's really kind of a neat foundation to our program. With that, they get assigned a mentor, an online mentor, who will kind of guide them through some of the thought processes that you have in business. How come you have to be on time? Why do I have to write emails in formal language instead of just like text language? What's the difference? Those kinds of things. So they act as mentors and guiding them through, somebody different talking to them other than their teachers, other than myself or him, being in the classroom. So it's kind of a neat situation. As the students go on to their sophomore year in high school, they're going to then take Workplace Learning 2, and if they pass Workplace Learning 2, they get to take their first college course. And that first college course is Intro to Computers. So Intro to Computers is going to be that basic Microsoft Office suite, because as much as we love Google Docs here in their various schools, when you go out into the workplace, you're not using Google Docs for the most part anymore. You're going to be using Microsoft Office. And so that's really our baseline on how to function in a college classroom. We offer that class right here. The students don't have to go anywhere. We schedule it right in, just like a regular class period that they would have. Some of the other opportunities that they have to earn credits as early as their sophomore year is through our digital arts class and our digital imaging class. And those are the classes that I mentioned that Mr. Miller teaches. And so through that, those are basically creating art on the computer. So we have a bunch of different ways that students can earn college credits as early as their sophomore year, which is really kind of neat. So I don't know if you noticed, but the board that I put up over there, one of our students had created for me because I had to do a presentation. I said, hey, I have to do this presentation. Can you help me out? She's like, sure, I'll create a trifold board, no problem. She created a trifold board. She presented it at the Capitol with me. And then she also created little handouts to talk about the program, which is really neat. So that's the kind of work that we see from our students because they're invested in this program and they want the word out there. It's kind of neat. You can go to the next one. So basically, I mentioned that 3 of my students, that's 3%, right? 3 out of 100 decided they wanted to graduate high school a year early. That's not typical. Most of our students don't do that, and I don't necessarily recommend it. These 3 ladies had unique situations. One had stayed back because of ESL issues when she was younger, so she was already a year older than everybody. One, their family came from a different culture, from a different country, and so she had a different perspective approaching education. She needed to get out, she needed to be able to get that degree and go to the workforce, right? And the third one had to find the cheapest way for her to get college, done because she wasn't going to be able to afford it without it. And so she is on an accelerated different program. So typically our students are going to take 4, 5, or even 6 years to finish that associate's degree. They're still going to graduate high school in 4 years, but the associate's degree might take them a little bit more time. Now, as they head into that 5th or 6th year, we don't pay for it anymore. We don't pay for year 5 or year 6. We only can accommodate the things that we do here at Danbury High School. So that's important for you to know. They would then apply for financial aid as they would with any other thing going on to a university. But we'll talk about that when it's more closer to the time that you need it. You could go to the next one. So here's our program requirements. So we used to have, yep, you guys do, good. Okay, 21 credits. The class after you is going to need 25 credits, but you guys have 21 credits. So we're still good. So these are our high school requirements that we have. You'll see it's just like anybody else, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, the same exact requirements as your peers. Nothing has changed, okay? So it's the same. What you'll notice on the right are college requirements. In order to get an associate's degree, that's 60 credits, okay? So 60 credits are things that you're going to do through like dual enrolled program, which means that you're getting credits here at Danbury High School and at the college, or you're doing it through just taking college courses. So we embed those experiences here at Danbury, and then sometimes the students, as they get older, maybe their junior, senior year, they decide, okay, I'm ready to take a class at the college campus, and they can go ahead and do that. But these are typical things that they might see. You can also, for our accelerated students, take advanced placement classes. So our AP classes can count towards this associate's degree as long as the students earn a 3, 4, or a 5 on that AP exam. So again, most of our students aren't taking AP classes until their junior or senior year even, but some can start as early as their sophomore year with our AP World Studies or AP Art History classes and AP Computer Science Principles. So we have a few that are open to our younger students. Next year, we are doing a different schedule. We have the entire school on a block schedule next year. In past years, We've had just our freshman academy on a block schedule. They have A and B days, but next year we're transitioning our whole school over to a block schedule. So this is what a sample schedule might look like for you. Everybody takes biology, everybody takes English, everybody takes world studies, and most people are taking algebra in some form or another, or geometry as their math class, okay? Then you have some electives that you get to choose. So most of our freshmen are gonna take PE and health, most of our freshmen are gonna take a world language, and you guys are gonna also take workplace learning. So we have 7 class periods that we're gonna have next year. So on any given day, you could have 3 classes, 3 long classes, and that 1 short class you're going to have every day. So workplace learning will be every day. It's at the end of the day, already scheduled in for you. You know you get to end your day every day with us. So that's kind of a nice way to end the day. That flex period is something that's different this year. So a flex period is going to be something where, say, I missed a day. I was out for my A day. So I can sign up during a flex period to go get some extra help in English to find out what I missed, or I can go sign up and get some extra help in biology if I have a test coming up or I'm not doing so hot. You can sign up. So what we'll be doing is at the beginning of the week, the students will say, okay, Tuesday I'm going to go to this flex period, and Wednesday I'm going to go here, and Thursday I want to see that, and Friday this club's meeting, so I'm going to go to that club meeting. So it's also going to be time for our clubs to meet. So flex is going to be a really kind of a neat thing that we have embedded into our day next year. That third period, you'll notice it says lunch plus PE because it's a longer block. Lunch will be embedded right in there. If you have older students, you may have had students who were able to opt out of lunch before. That's not going to be an option anymore. So all of our students will have lunch. They will not have the capacity to take 8 classes. They can only take a maximum of 7. So that's a little bit different from the previous years as well. Any questions on the schedule? Yeah.
How long is the flex period?
The flex period is about, I think it's about 35 minutes. Yep.
So with being in DECO, we don't have any other electives besides workplace learning.
Well, you have the option. You have 3 electives total, 3 periods. So we have 4 core academics: biology, world language, English, and math. And then you have 3 more class periods that you can choose. One of those class periods you have to have workplace learning. So you get 2 more to choose from.
Oh, so like it's not always going to be workplace learning.
Workplace learning will always be at the end, but see that period 3A day and 3B day, for example, you would choose 2 more electives. So you don't have to take gym and health next year if you don't want to. You don't have to take a world language next year if you don't want to, but you can. Yes, sir?
That flex, that's for them to catch up on their work?
Sure, yep, so it'll be, they can use it as a time to get extra help if they want to visit a club. If the club is meeting during that time, they'll be able to do that as well. If they need to do extra, if there's extra resources they need to access here in the library, there's going to be different things that are run. There'll also be some small group guidance things going on. So maybe there'll be a group of students with parents who are getting divorced or something like that, where we'll have self-help topics that our guidance department can run as well. So there'll be all kinds of different things going on during that flex period that students will be able to access. One of the things that we do here at Danbury High School every single day is a student bulletin, and that's during the middle of the day, so maybe in between period 1 and 2. You would hear the student announcements, and I encourage you to listen to those announcements because a lot of students kind of miss it. But there's a lot of important information during that time, and so that's something that the students are going to want to look at too, and they'll be able to get some information about different flex offerings during that time too, I imagine. Any other questions on the schedule? So for you guys, I already went ahead, I believe, and put in workplace learning for all of you as one of your electives. If you feel very strongly about which other elective you want to take out of there, usually it was pretty easy for me to figure out because we have a lot of students who are going to try to get into fashion photography, and as freshmen, you get the last spot. So the reality is you're probably not going to get into that class. So it's easier for me to say, okay, what the likelihood is, I'll put that as an alternate, but the likelihood is that you won't get in that. And we've been doing this long enough to kind of know which ones are going to fill up with your upperclassmen and which ones aren't. But if there's something that you feel really strongly about, just send me an email and I can go ahead and look at that. And if you can't remember what you signed up for, I can also look at that too. Yep.
So the schedule that they chose before they knew they were going to be in DECO is not really their
Well,
class any longer?
and I think a lot of the students were given the advice that they should choose 8 periods worth of classes too, some of them. And that was before I think the guidance counselors at the middle school really knew that we're committed to doing the 7-period block schedule. So yeah, so there's some changes there. But if you want, you can just email me and we can look at it together.
Do they have the ability to look at their schedule, what it is?
No,
now,
they
or no?
don't.
No.
They don't have it yet.
So
no.
they don't know what they got or what they didn't get if they chose 8
Correct.
and you already took one off and another one comes off? So
Right. Yeah. They won't. I didn't take anything off, but I just put things as alternates,
Oh.
so it'd still be there. But like I said, the likelihood of that, or some, if it's something that wasn't even open to them, somehow they signed up for it, then I would pull that out.
And they won't know that until August or so?
Yeah, schedules come out in August. Oh, by the way, so if you have a problem with your schedule in August, can you do me a favor? And I know it's going to say sign up for an appointment with your guidance counselor. And while you can do that, I would really like you to email me. If you can just email me and say, my schedule has 2 Englishes and no math. Can you help me? Yes, I can help you. Okay, and I'll probably get to it a little bit quicker than them because our guidance counselors don't come in until the end of August, and I'm usually in August 13th. I know I am, but I'd start. I'll check my emails towards the end of July as well too. Any other scheduling questions? How do you find out? No. Okay, we can go to the next one.
All right, so Dr. Roy's been talking a lot so far about workplace learning. So this is kind of an overview of what workplace learning really is. This all kind of came about, would have been like 4 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago now. Representatives from where I work, Oak Ridge Advisors, Pitney Bowes, a couple people from the school, we all kind of sat down in a room together and said, all right, new people coming in, fresh graduates, what skills are they consistently lacking? And basically just spent an entire day brainstorming on that. And what we ultimately came up with was we took all those skills and kind of broke it out into the 4 years. So starting off year 1, workplace learning, what you guys are really going to be focusing on is a lot of individualized things. What's my personality type? How do I learn best? How can I use my strengths to effectively communicate to other people? Year 2 takes those, builds on that a little bit more, and focuses a lot on cooperative learning, working in a group, getting used to different roles within a group setting. And then year 3, keep reinforcing all that, but then also really getting into things like professional etiquette, resume writing, cover letter writing, networking, and eventually year 4 the goal is to have that internship with somewhere in the Danbury community. I've actually got one DECO student who's been interning for me after school for the past couple of months. He'll finish up this week right about when the school year ends. And we've had several students who, even though they're only in their 3rd year, they went out and they sought internships from other places, which is fantastic. Speaking as someone who's kind of seen our juniors now progress through all of this, the transformations I've seen have been amazing and incredible. I have seen, just like Dr. Roy was saying, they start out freshman year. This is how they do everything. I see them present even by the middle of year 2, and they are like leaps and bounds ahead. And they start to notice too. Like I'll hear them talking about how they were in another class, and one of their classmates who's not in DECO was presenting, and they're staring at them, being like, "No, turn, look this way." I came in this year. A couple of times we did a couple of rounds of mock interviews, just to get them some general practice with that. It happened to coincide when I was doing some actual interviews for some entry-level positions at work. There were several of our DECO students who I would have much rather hired than the people I was interviewing. They had better written resumes, their cover letters were clearer, and they were much better at speaking to me. And that's really one of the main goals of this program. You know, you can go to college, that's great, but you need to actually be able to go out and interact with people. And that's something I think that is across the board lacking in a lot of places. I was talking to some people on the eastern side of the state. The main industry partner is Electric Boat over in Groton. I was talking to someone in HR over there, and I was asking, you know, what types of trainings do you guys need to do for your employees? And their actual response was, we need to teach our engineers not to talk to their feet.
It seems like a small thing, but it makes a big difference. And one of the things that one of the girls who was graduating this year said to me, she said, you know, Dr. Roy, I have to tell you, I don't think I would have been able to do this without this program. I just don't think I would have had the confidence to say, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. I can interact with these people. And you know, that was so validating for us, because sometimes I think the students think, oh, this is easy. This class is easy. It's not easy to get up in front of a group and talk to people. It's not easy to have a difficult conversation with somebody that you're working with, that you might be friends with, but you have different ideas with. And how do you do that? And this seems like a small thing, and they'll be, oh, that class is easy. I have people fail the class because they're afraid. They're afraid to get outside of their comfort zone. And so I spend time with them, and I make sure that if you're not doing well, we're going to get to the bottom of why. And by year two, we've pretty much ironed it out. And by year three, they're teaching each other, which is really great. And year three, we do a neat thing. We do a book study, a literature circles. And so we bring in mentors, Andrew's being one of them, to run our literature groups, which is really kind of a neat thing. So the students are reading things that the parents are like, hey, I read that. I read that in graduate school, though. Yes, you did. You read Drive, maybe, or 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. We learn all these different things, and the students are reading these higher level books, and the mentors come in and they're like, wow, these guys have good ideas. This is really impressive. Right.
Yeah.
So,
And then Dr. Roy was mentioning, I mean, if you want to look at the benefits of this program as a whole, but I think also a major part of it being workplace learning, you know, when's the Danbury Day? April?
mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So in April, we were up in Hartford, state capitol, kind of presenting DECO to the state legislature on behalf of Danbury. And we have a student up there who was able to get up there and with complete confidence to a room full of strangers who all she knew was that they make state laws say, I'm 16 years old, and thanks to this program, I'm graduating high school and I'm going to UConn School of Engineering next year. Which, I mean, I can't really sum up the benefits of this program any better than that. The other piece that our industry side tries to bring to this is mentoring. So your teachers can be up there talking about how you need to learn how to talk to people, how you need to, you know, learn how to write well. It means something different coming from someone who's not a teacher or a parent. And it also means something else when it's someone who's kind of just dedicated to you. So that's one of the reasons we have this professional mentoring. Just kind of talking about the types of things that you do on a daily basis at work. You know, what do you do in a meeting all day? If you have a meeting, what types of experiences have you had? It is not a traditional kind of like big brother, big sister mentoring relationship. It is much more focused on those professional skills. The other big thing is that it's almost entirely online. Our mentors use a platform called MentorPlace. It's developed by IBM specifically for this professional mentoring type program. And the total time commitment for our mentors is maybe half an hour a week. It's roughly the same as answering a couple of emails throughout the week, which is great because that means that the mentors don't have to, you know, be online at a specific time in a chat room or anything. You can kind of answer on your own time as long as the students have submitted their responses.
Right. All of our mentors, just to be clear, are vetted. We do background checks on everybody. Even though they're primarily online, meeting the students, we do invite them to come to the classroom sometimes to present to our students. And then we also have, for our freshmen, we go over to WestCon a few times a year, usually 3 times a year. We get together as a whole big group, and the students work on a problem that they've identified that they can use technology to solve or to bring awareness to the problem. And our mentors will come in and they give feedback on that whole process. And then by the 3rd meeting, their students are actually doing product pitches to their mentors and to each other to get feedback. So it's a pretty neat experience. The students love it when we go over there. We're always looking for more mentors. So if you'd consider mentoring, I wouldn't partner you with your own child, but if you wouldn't mind mentoring, that would be awesome. We'd love to have you join us. And the Danbury Schools and Business Collaborative really takes care of that piece for us. They've been fantastic.
Yes.
So they do all of the vetting and the background checks and everything for us through DCF. So it's really a neat program. Any questions about the mentoring component of things? Yeah.
Are the mentors the same every year?
They can be, but due to circumstances beyond our control, right, sometimes they move or get placed in different industries or whatever. We end up having to switch them out, but we try to keep them consistent throughout the years. And sometimes we use our older students, so our juniors, to mentor the freshmen also if we don't have enough mentors from the industry, which is why I always put the plug out there for parents to be involved too. It's kind of a neat way for you to see what they're doing without actually being involved with their response necessarily. You could say, I saw today, you guys had to post something about a problem with working on a team when you're in school. Well, I had this problem at work today, and it kind of gives you something to talk about too, which is kind of a hard thing to come up with high schoolers sometimes. This summer, we're going to get together, so probably August 20th to the 22nd. It is optional. If you have a vacation planned and you're not here, that's okay. That's okay. I'm really excited about this year because we have our new building. It's going to be open. We're going to be in. We're going to be in air conditioning.
Oh, we're actually going to be here.
We'll be here. So it's exciting. So you'll be the first ones to actually get into that new building. The 20th, the 21st, 22nd, we're going to walk your schedule. You're going to meet some of the upperclassmen. They're going to show you where things are. We're going to do a little scavenger hunt where you have to find Mrs. Tallarico and you have to find here, you have to find your way back here. So it's very exciting. We do some team building things, which is super fun. We bring in our mentors to get to know you a little bit and to kind of learn that process. So the summer experience, I know some of you are involved in sports and you have tryouts and things like that. So that's okay. If you can come 2 out of the 3 days or something like that, then that's all right too. We'd love to have you be with us all 3 days. It's usually in the morning. I do about an 8 to noon or 8 to 11:30 or something along those lines for the time frame. But it's a fun time. It's a good way for you to get to know me, which I always tell the students, I said, listen, we have 3,200 students in this building. And prior to this year included, I was actually Dean of Students for all freshmen. So I get to know 800 students. And so while I'd really like to know each and every one of your names, unless you come and make yourself known to me, it's going to be really hard for me to do that. And it's not, and I apologize. First of all, I'm not that good with names anyways. And then there's just a lot of you. And so it makes it a little challenging. So I tell the students, stop by, introduce yourself to me. Introduce yourself to me 3-4 times. And then hopefully I'll remember, because I try really hard. My office, I have one office outside of the cafeteria, but I'm going to be moving over to the new building with you guys. So I will be right in the building with you. My office will be on the 3rd level of the new building. So that'll be kind of neat. So we'll be together pretty regularly. But the summer experience is super fun, so I hope that you guys can join us. You get to know each other, which is kind of neat. Some of you maybe you're kind of looking to meet some new friends, maybe people who are like-minded coming from the other middle schools. So that'll be kind of a neat thing. Maybe you're coming from a private school and you want to meet some of the other students. So this will give you a way to kind of do that in a little bit smaller setting than being thrown in with everybody. And then also, I don't know if you saw, but we do come back to school that last Friday for a early dismissal day. That was a change from the schedule originally. These are our contacts. If you'd like to email me, you guys can shoot me an email anytime. I'm on all the time. And then you can also reach out to Mr. Drew. Our partner over at Pitney Bowes is Mr. LaPerch. You will see him. He's with us with all our mentoring things. Mrs. Meist is our partner at the Danbury Schools and Business Collaborative. And then Mr. Santiago is the Dean of Students over here in the Danbury campus. So if you have any questions about NBCC and that experience, you can reach out to Mr. Santiago. Let's open it up to questions. This is the best. What are you dying to know? Yes,
You just mentioned that you were the dean of freshman students. Do you have another job here, or is this?
I did. I had 2, and next year I have 1. I'm so excited. It's very exciting. Yeah. This year I was dean of students also. The past couple of years I have, but now with the full cohort of 4 years worth of students and the program up and running and everything, so I'll just focus on DECO, which is kind of neat. I'm excited.
So the 3-day on-site that you're planning to have in August, you will be getting an email on it?
You sure will. I'll send home a letter and I'll also email you. Which reminds me, if you didn't get a chance to sign in with an email, some of the students filled out the emails, but they didn't necessarily put in your correct ones. And I've been trying to search PowerSchool now that I have access to their records because they're in our system now. I've been trying to fix that, but if you haven't received any email from me yet, that's probably because I don't have an accurate email for you. So if you have one that you want me to use, you can put it on the yellow pad at the back of the paper or at the back of the room. If you don't have an email address, can you please consider getting one? Because I do try to communicate with the parents. I send out quarterly newsletters, which have a lot of information that you're going to want, and then also invitations to different events that we have going on. It would be great. Other questions?
So August 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 7th.
Yeah, Monday. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, it'll definitely be that week. I just got to make sure that nothing crazy is going on in the building over there, or they're not moving furniture that day or something. It's just some of these things I can't control.
I'm sorry, one more thing.
Sure.
The transportation we have to arrange, right?
Yes.
for 3 days.
Mhm. Yep.
Is there any additional summer work?
There is no additional summer work for the DECO program. No, other than have a fabulous summer. Read a book. Yes, I'm going to tell them to read a book.
The time frame for those 3 days.
The time frame will be the morning, probably about 8 o'clock to about 11:30. Yeah. Yes, read a book. Everybody should read books.
During school year, will there be after-school classes?
Not freshman year. That's a good question. So sophomore year, I offer classes beginning your sophomore year, and these are optional. You can participate. I try to run at least one section, if not 2 sections, of something in the fall and something in the spring. So it just depends on student interest, which is why students also need to check their emails regularly. Last year, we canceled our fall class because I didn't have enough students respond to me by the time that I needed to be able to make the decision with Naugatuck. So I said, I had to cancel it, so it's unfortunate. So students, if you have smartphones, it would be a good idea for you to take your school email and forward it so that the notifications pop up on your phone. That's really important because I do communicate with you regularly on emails, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on any of those opportunities. Because oftentimes with those after-school classes, if I run a section, I have to cap it at 30. So it'll be the first 30 students who respond that will be able to participate. But that doesn't start until sophomore year. Yep.
For the workplace learning class, are we all going to be in the same period? If it's all the last period, so is all 60 students going to be in the same time?
So we have 2 teachers. Mr. Foley's been teaching this since we started, and then we have a new teacher who's coming on board with us, Ms. Hessler. She's one of our English teachers. That's not true. Mr. Foley's teaching workplace learning too. Mr. Samaha is another English teacher. He has also been with us from the beginning, so he'll do workplace learning 1. We have 2 sections of 30, so we're full. But I try to pull the students together probably next year or more frequently, maybe every other week, so that all 60 of us are together. Other questions?
Do they need any equipment, such as computers or anything, or is that all supply?
Nice question. Thank you for asking. So, here at Danbury High School, we have lots of computers. You don't need anything in particular on your own. You don't have to go out and purchase something if you don't have it. Do they use computers regularly for their assignments? Absolutely. Many of our teachers put everything on Google Classroom. So that's a great thing to have. We do have computers that are donated here by Ingersoll Automotive. Every year they give us computers to use. And so we store them here in the library. You basically check it out just like a library book, but the difference is you get to keep it for the whole year. So if you do not have a laptop at home, or yours is broken, or it's slow, or it's not working good, I encourage you at the beginning of the year to come to the library to say, can I borrow a laptop? And be one of those first people to get it. They're brand new. Maybe they're the oldest ones we have are like maybe 3-4 years old, and when they break, they give us new ones. And so it's a great laptop. It's not a Chromebook. It's a real laptop. So it's heavier. It's not something that you want to carry back and forth to school. But that's something that you would check out and leave at home. But we have Chromebooks and Chromebook cards and everything else here. So computers aren't a problem here. Let's talk about that while we're on the subject of computers. Because we are all tech people, this is a degree in computer information sciences, so let's just talk about that for a second. And being the dean of students earlier, I spent a lot of time with students who have their cell phones out. I don't know what the policy was in middle school, but I'm going to tell you what our policy here is at Danbury High School. Your phones need to be away and they need to be off in your bags. They can't be like sitting on the table, but it's off. I know it's off, but you got to put it away because if it's on and you're going to see, oh, but it's my mom texting me or it's my grandma calling me. I understand that, but you're not allowed to take a phone call in the middle of English class. You cannot do that. And so the consequence in our discipline code is a full day of in-school suspension for that. It's really strict. So I just want you to know that because I have a lot of tears for students who come in, but I didn't know. No, you did know because we talked about it because I'm going to talk about it again at the beginning of the year because that's what I do. But I just want you to be really clear, like, and you know, some teachers say, okay, you can take out your phones for 5 minutes. Okay, fine. But don't misconstrue that for you can have your phone out all the time because they will call you on it, and I don't want you to get in trouble. So cell phones should be away and off unless the teacher specifically tells you that you could take it out and use it for an assignment. And if they say you're doing a Kahoot, not watching YouTube or playing Fortnite or whatever, you know, make sure that that's not what's going on because they always know. They have eyes everywhere. It's like amazing. Like they could be like, Anders, you're on the phone. It's important. But all joking aside, I don't want you to get in trouble. Other questions? Yep.
Do kids need to have Excel and Word on
No.
their laptops?
They do not. No. Is it helpful? Sure. But the Intro to Computers class, we do very little, if any, homework at all. Most of it's all in class. If they need extra time, they usually come see me. I have laptops that are specifically equipped with that.
So the laptops in the library have it?
No,
So
just the ones that I keep in my office.
You mean?
The computer
They
would
don't
stay.
need to bring it.
No, yeah, they would want to keep it. It's heavy. It's
Yeah.
big. They're big. They're not Chromebooks. They're not light. Yeah, they're the big guys. Other questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where are the laptops?
What?
Would you suggest us to bring the laptops to school?
Would I suggest you to bring a laptop to school? No, not an actual laptop, probably not. Do students do it? Yeah, usually more towards the end of the semester when there's papers or projects going on. But most of the time, students, if you're going to have something, maybe you have your own Chromebook or something. A lot of students like to do that, or their own tablets or something. They do bring that a lot of the times. Mr. Miller, you have a weigh in on that? Any opinions?
I see a lot of students that bring it, and unless you're a senior working on in-depth projects, usually it ends up being an extra weight in your backpack. So I wouldn't bring your laptop unless you have a specific purpose for the laptop. Then I would bring it because then it's useful. But if you don't have a specific purpose, I would save your bag and leave it at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they gonna have a special entrance for them in that building?
There is a back entrance. It's really pretty. If you haven't gone back down to the track, I suggest take a walk around and see it from the distance. It looks really nice. But there's an entrance over there. So buses is a common question that we get here at Danbury High School. Our buses drop off in 2 different spots. One is in where the heck are we? In the front of the building, and then we have some that are off back by the gym. So it just depends on where they come in. So their bus may be right there in the right
So they have
dropping
to
off.
run all.
So yes, we do lots of steps here at Danbury High School. Like somebody got me a Fitbit for Christmas. I laughed at them. I was like, I'm absolutely not wearing that. I wore it for 2 days, and I was like, I'm at 14,000 steps. I'm out. I'm not watching. I don't want to know. Like we run around like crazy, which is okay. I run anyways, but they're gonna get their steps in. It'll be good. Yeah.
Is there an opportunity for them to double up on math? I thought there was like something in the summer through the program for math.
So one of the things that we've been fortunate enough to offer so far is a summer school experience for the students going into their sophomore year. I have either run chemistry or geometry, or chemistry and geometry, depending on what the students want to take and how much interest. This year we're only running chemistry. Instead of it costing $350, which it does for regular students, it's going to be $200. So there is a fee associated with summer school, but it does get them that full year's worth of credit for chemistry. So this year it's chemistry. Next year we might do chemistry and geometry if you guys are all like, yeah, we want to take it. So it just depends on that. Usually, just an FYI, people try to start planning their vacations and everything. So our summer experiences are typically the month of July. This was a little bit of a crazy thing going on this year with just ending on June 29th. But typically there would be, July, right from the beginning of July to the end. And we're able to get our summer experience done there. Yep. And again, our summer things are optional. Students don't have to do that, but the students who are trying to get through the program in 4 years are going to take advantage of all of these things to be able to try to finish in 4 years. Right now, we probably have about 10 students out of that first 100 who will finish all 60 credits in 4 years and be able to graduate on time. So many of the, was it hard work? Yeah. But is it doable? It's also doable. Sure.
Do they complain half the time? Absolutely.
Sometimes they complain. There was a little complaining, I'm not going to lie, about the chemistry last summer. They're like, this is really hard. I'm like, you will survive. I promise you. You will do it. And they do. And nobody failed. Yep.
Can they develop the math during the regular school year?
So you can choose a second math if you wanted to. Say you wanted to put it in as one of your electives. You can absolutely do that. Sure. Yep. Other questions? Oh, hey. Yeah.
Hi. How do you open up an email?
No, I go to Richfield, so I got a Richfield.
Okay, so you need your
I need
your
a
Power
Danbury
School.
email.
I have that. I'll send you it as a attachment.
Okay.
What else? Other questions? You can just shout it out because I can't see everybody. Yeah.
The kids are doing this, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Are they doing the summer classes in junior and senior year?
So no, actually, they don't have to take it this summer, which is so crazy. But they yes, so they did AP classes, they did digital arts, digital imaging, they did after school intro to business, intro to public speaking, they did during the day, what the heck did we offer this year? Programming one, database design. Last summer we did networking essentials. They do everything, a little bit of everything in this computer information science degree, which is really neat. The pathways kind of set you up to go to WestCon in one of 4 degrees. Which is digital arts, cybersecurity, management information systems, or computer information systems. So there's 4 defined pathways at WestCon if they decide to take what they have and finish over there. The other thing that I tell students or parents, this is a little bit kind of forward thinking, but you can always go to a 4-year university. Your first year of college is pretty much the same for everybody. It's like your 5th year of high school. You've got to take math, you've got to take science, you've got to take social studies, right? So those are things that after you pass that year, you can always transfer it back to Naugatuck to finish the associate's degree. So even if you don't graduate in the 4 years, you can still stay associated with that by transferring back what you've done at UConn or wherever you go. So, but these people took advantage of all the opportunities. They were somebody asked about math. They were accelerated in math, so they were able to access those higher level math classes a little sooner than some of the other students were able to.
Oh, you guys have tutors for extra help?
Yay! Yes, good question. Thank you for asking. So, this year I was able to offer tutoring after school. I got a grant to offer the students extra help after school if they so chose to participate. And actually, we even gave them credit for staying too. So there are different programs. We have after school help here Wednesdays and Thursdays, every single Wednesday and Thursday. It's here in the library. Students can access that if they want to. And we have teachers that are working that so they can get extra help there too. Many of the students just come and see me. I'm up to Algebra 2 right now. I just want you to know my math skills, we're getting there. I don't love solving systems of equations, but I can do it. And so a lot of students just come right to me too and say, hey, can I have help on this or whatever. If they have a project, I need glue. You know, it's a last minute struggle, but it's good. So there are definitely tutoring opportunities. Yep.
If one student completed this DECO in 4 years, for example,
Yep.
and that student is going to the UConn, how it benefits for that student?
Okay,
Yeah.
so great. So like we said, one of our students, she's graduating, right? She's going to go to the School of Engineering. And so what this did was it just helped some of those elective classes will transfer over. They have a one-to-one. Some will take place of some of the electives. Some won't transfer over because they don't have an equivalent at UConn. So it really depends on where they're going to go and what they're going to do. If they finish the associate's degree itself, that's different because if they finish the associate's degree and then try to go to UConn, then they can say, I have a 3.6 in college and an associate's degree, and that gets them into different levels of programs. Like their GPA, UConn in particular, if you get a 3.0, maybe you can get in. You get a 3.6, now you get into the School of Engineering. It's like a different, different
And I
tiers.
have one more question.
Yep.
This GPA for that regular school and the DECO is different, or it goes same?
Good question. So some of our classes are regular CP, college prep classes that like our digital arts or digital imaging. They go in just like anybody else. But some of our classes are higher level computer classes, so they're going to be weighted like AP class.
So if they do that 60 credits for the associate's degree in 4 years, is that considered like part of a true college credit, because that can mess up the FAFSA?
So FAFSA right now gives you time and a half. So it gives you, so for an associate's degree, you get up to 90 credits worth of things, or if you're going for a four-year university, you can get up to 180. So even if we use some of the FAFSA funds during their experience here, then they still have leftovers to be able to finish. The reality is right now, FAFSA for high school has been on a trial basis, and that was something that Obama initiated for us. And so that actually runs out at the end of next year. And so if that is not re-upped by President Trump, then we wouldn't necessarily be able to access those funds at all. And so we would have to look for different ways of funding the college courses through different grants or different federal funding or whatever.
When the students are applying for their 4 years, are they applying as transfer at that point, or are they applying as first year?
They're applying as first year, but then they're transferring their credits in.
So they're still considered first year?
Yes, because we want them to still have that typical first year experience. Yep, and get that support that they would need if they're going to live on campus and all those different things. Yep.
And these credits are transferable to major universities throughout the United States, or?
It depends. It really depends. I mean, if you're looking at like your Yale or something like that, the reality is they're not taking anything from most places anyways, and certainly probably not community colleges. It just depends on where the students decide to go. Is it something for them to talk about? Does it give them the confidence during those interview skills to get in? I would argue yes. Other questions?
WestCon takes all of them.
WestCon takes all of them.
Central,
Central,
Yeah,
Southern,
most of
WestCon,
the
Eastern, they'll
states.
take, the state schools will take 100% of the credits. Yep. Yep, go ahead.
All right, for example, if you were supposed to go to college and let's say accept the credits getting transferred, like can you like just go, for example, to WestCon, finish the degree, and then move on to like conference?
Yeah. You could. Or you say you go to BC and BC didn't take those transfer credits maybe. You can transfer back to Naugatuck, have the associate's degree also, and then continue. Sometimes life happens. For some of us, we're a privilege. We get to go to that four-year university, we get to finish, and we get to go find a job afterwards. And some of us, life happens, and it's nice to have that associate's degree to say that could still get me a job. We specifically seek out mentors who have an associate's degree and are working in industry already. So one of the guys that we have presents for us at Pitney Bowes has an associate's degree from Naugatuck, and that's what he has. I think he's working. What did he say he's working on? He's working on another degree now, but he was able to. He had to do it slowly, and so he got the associate's degree, got himself a job, was working. Same thing with Prax there. Another guy too. Yeah. So it does help open doors. The internship experience can be during the junior or senior year. That's really kind of a neat thing for students to see. You know, some of them are like, I want to be a vet. Okay, let's go get an internship in a vet and see if you really like it. And they come back and they say, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. And so we say, okay, so now what do you want to do? And they say, I really liked that digital arts class, and then maybe they decide to pursue something like that. So it's kind of neat. I try to field it out for them because a lot, you know, you're 16, 17, you don't know what you want to do. So I try to bring in a bunch of different experiences. We take field trips to Cardis, we go to Praxair, we go to Pitney Bowes, we bring Oak Branch to us, we bring Men's Warehouse in so that they know how to dress. That's important. We talked about that. They were critiquing the speaker from Men's Warehouse because she had gum in her mouth. They're like, Best, did you see she had gum? So it's pretty neat. Other questions for us? We believe in this program. We love it. The state recognizes us, which is great, and that's a step in the right direction to trying to get some funding to help us. There are 4 programs like this in the state. Norwalk is 1 year ahead of us in their cohorts and their sequence of things. So they graduated their first class this year. And then he mentioned our counterparts out in the eastern part of the state, and they're much smaller. Their programs have about 30 students in their cohort up there, so they're a little bit smaller. But we love it, and I think the students find benefit from it, and I think the parents also like that connection with me. I also happen to speak Spanish, which is helpful for some of you, I imagine. So if you have questions, let me know. Email me, email Mr. Drew. Either of us are available, or Mr. Miller too. He's quite familiar with what we have going on here. And I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.